You know one thing I miss about musicals when they were about chocolate. So welcome everyone to the 1971 version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, starring the late great Gene Wilder in the role as Willy Wonka. Although it is kind of funny in that the film called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is more focused on Charlie, and it's the reverse for the other way around.
I know, interestingly enough. Honestly, I like both versions, but I will admit it's been a long time since I even saw so much as a glimpse of this movie, so
I have never
Right.
actually even read the book. I saw these when I was little, so I do know a couple of things to point out
It
that in my
was
version, but otherwise not so much.
I've
it
read the
was
book.
directed It was directed by Mel Stewart, who'd previously helmed films like 4 Days in November, and the screenplay was credited to the original author of the book, Roald Dahl, but David Seltzer made major uncredited rewrites to the script,
Oh
and
boy.
Dahl weren't happy about it afterwards.
Well,
Wait,
I
wait,
can
wait, wait, wait. You
imagine
mean to
that.
tell me that there was a movie adaptation of one of his works that Roald Dahl ended up being unhappy with? Well, what a
Okay,
surprise.
to be fair, Java, in
That
this
being
case, it
said,
seems
that
more
being
like
said,
they literally pulled the rug under his feet.
he is completely justified in this case, which is ironic because in some ways it makes the Johnny Depp version actually more accurate to the original book. In
Well, we're not
some
going to get to
ways.
that one yet.
Also, speaking of this movie, just a question out of curiosity before I know, because I do remember hearing about this. Was it also a case where part of the cast, like Gene Wilder, did not really like making this movie?
That I don't know. I'd have to look into it as we go on.
All right then.
But yeah, let's go on. Okay, now a bit of distribution history because it's actually important for how we're going to start. It was originally distributed by Paramount, but then Warner Brothers later on got their hands on the home media rights,
As
and
far as
yet
I know, we're currently holding that.
yeah, and yet for streaming, they Paramount is credited on the beginning of the film, even though Warner Brothers still holds the rights.
It might be a case with similar to how some of the Fox movies on Disney Plus still maintain the old Fox logo.
And how
Pretty
some
much.
and
You'd
how
be
and how
surprised
the
how
early
many times that happens.
and how the early MCU films had still had the Paramount and
Yeah.
Universal. So we're going to skip the logos entirely and start just before the opening sequence of the film. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
I saw both movies and I enjoyed each of them.
Yeah. I think each movie has its strengths and weaknesses compared to the other.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, and apparently this version is a remaster, even.
Oh
Basically,
boy.
I mean, hey, that's one advantage to this. That's one advantage. You can tell this is the 4K version of the movie because it has the Paramount logo at the beginning.
Look at that, the product of the pillaging of the South America.
Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I always thought, hang on, this isn't chocolate, it's tomato sauce.
Oh, it's a better joke than the one I was expecting, James, at least.
And I thought, yeah, I kept thinking this is like a factory making weird things.
To be fair, it's not completely inaccurate, that kind of statement.
Yeah, I've been to Cadbury World.
So who did the score, just to get that out of the way?
The score was composed by two people, Leslie Bracuse and Anthony Newley.
I don't think I heard of them.
Bracuse previously worked on films like the original Doctor Dolittle, Goodbye Mr. Chips, Tom and Jerry the movie, and he also worked on a couple of James Bond songs like Goldfinger and You Only Live Twice.
I can hear some of that because again, I kind of grew up with the original Doctor Dolittle, for better or worse. So I can kind of see a bit of similarities with some of the songs in that.
Okay, so I've seen Eddie Murphy's Dr. Dolittle trilogy. Those are great.
Watch musical Hell's review of it. It tells you everything you need to know. As a child, I kind of really enjoyed it, but the more you get to know about the movie, the better it gets. It's still worth a look, to be honest.
Directed by Mel Stewart.
And now we start with every kid's favourite thing, school.
Ah, now I understand. This is a children's prison.
And what do all kids do after school's out? They go on their iPhone. Oh no, sorry, this is 1971. They run straight to the nearest newsagents or chocolate shop, or candy shop in this case, and buy their favourite chocolate bar. Like they're ready to go to the pub at opening time.
Looks like in Kung Pao. We're children, we're children, we're children.
I like that there are, like, if you know where to look, you can still, like, find these kinds of sweet shops.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Me as
When it comes to these, my country, much like I guess a lot of Europe, imports from the Lind company for this specific.
Right.
I'm guessing.
shops.
Well, sure. Sweden probably has a lot of them.
And meanwhile, here I am as the weirdo who doesn't like most candies. The
Oh,
only-
neither do I. I just like the aesthetic of these kinds of places.
So we got
Pretty much.
wow, this is quite the contrast. We got two people here watching a film all about chocolate who don't like it.
The only sweet
I mean, I will eat it, just I prefer savory food.
The only sweet
Same.
same. The only sweet I go for is cheesecake, which admittedly has helped with dieting. Well, not eating candy really does help one maintain a good.
I don't even have a
We've got
choice.
so we got Aubrey Woods as Bill the Candyman singing this.
You were saying to you?
I don't really have too much of a choice, Joe, in a sense, but yes, I can eat for the time being. But my family has a history of, gaining diabetes, so I need to watch out.
Oh, is diabetes hereditary or something?
This guy's such a suck up for Wonka.
Also, my dude, all that stuff's gonna get on the floor for the ones who don't catch it.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Wow.
Welcome to editing in the 1970s, TM.
That Doctor Who was not this schizophrenic.
Are you sure, Tio? There
Yes.
were some pretty trippy. Tio,
No,
there. I
it's
recall.
not to speed up. Sure, it was eccentric, especially in the Tom Baker era, but not to go super. Gotta go fast levels. Also, you just know that if someone wanted, we could incorporate this in a horror key. This particular song.
Well, there's literally a horror film called The Candyman.
We want to buy it. We want to buy anything from a guy named Fickle Gruber. I want to be called Fickle. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Yes, I
the
guess
food's
it's,
delicious.
I guess it's part of
Royals.
Roald Dahl's traditional wacky naming.
Yeah. So here we are. We have Peter Ostrom playing Charlie Bucket, this was his only film role.
Huh. Oh god, I hope he didn't end up like the poor actor who played Peter Pan in the original Disney film.
He became a vet.
Okay,
Fair enough.
that's good.
Little cameo there from Werner Hay King, a Danish actor.
So I think we're gonna mention it at
Okay,
least
Charlie,
later,
don't
but
just go chucking things in there without looking. Who knows
it's
what you're
classic
getting?
newspaper boy kind of behavior.
And just like any typical paper boy, his papers always land in the best
Yeah.
places somehow.
So I forgot, what city are we supposed to be in? Is it a fictional one?
We're supposed to be in City.
Okay.
Okay, they actually filmed it in Munich.
Oh,
But does the movie ever specify?
It's set in City.
Does the book ever specify, since you said you read
No.
that, Jova? Ah, okay.
I mean, to be fair, what the director was going for, he wanted it to be ambiguous and unfamiliar. So, plus it was cheaper than filming in the US.
the movie will also refer later on to fictional places anyway, so... Robert,
So what the hell are you selling?
I don't remember. I didn't actually remember this scene, actually. Okay, it is actually, admittedly, been a while, but... I wonder.
Also, it's funny you mentioned it, Shuri. Believe it or not, the city in the book is literally just called The City.
Also, I like how we just had a guy warning Charlie about danger when you just walked up to him
With a
late
bunch
at
of
night.
knives, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So here we are, the rest of the Bucket family. His hard-working mom, along with his grandma, another one of his granddad and grandmas, and who people consider to be the real villain of the movie, Grandpa Joe.
Oh boy.
Mostly because they see him as incredibly lazy, and well, you'll see later on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the movie, did a better means of showing how Grandpa Joe would be like this until that point.
Well, I mean, he could have stole it for all you
I was
know.
about to say.
That's you're poor enough, but having an arrested kid is the last thing you need.
That bread looks overdone.
I forgot.
Charlie, you can't do that. You're too young.
I forgot. Well, does the story? I guess it just implies maybe in saying that, but is it a case where Charlie's father died or he just walked out?
Yeah, it says his dad's not alive in this film.
Okay.
Even though he was in the book, I think.
Which is why he's alive in the remake.
In the 2005 film.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe they were trying to capture the Disney magic with this one. Dead parents.
Paramount.
I mean,
It's a horror.
Remember, Dwebs, the whole reason MGM made The Wizard of Oz was to compete with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So,
yeah. Like, and let me put it like this. Even in their dark age, Disney were still someone to look to for inspiration.
I mean, Secret of
I
NIMH.
don't want to buy stuff from Slugworth.
Wait.
Well,
Slugworth.
how about pesticide?
I was about to say, is he by any chance related to a Mr. Slughorn?
Nah. How did the chocolate get out then?
So I guess these factories stands to this city like the automotive industry stands to Detroit. If it goes out, the entire city declares bankruptcy.
Okay. Alright, to be fair, Jack Albertson does play the role of Grandpa Joe really well.
Oh, yes, he does.
The 70s where you could teach this particular level of chemistry in elementary school.
Okay, so we got the kind of stuffy teacher played by David Batley.
Is he British?
Yes.
Gee, I couldn't tell. That accent, that mouth, that square-eyed jaw, those eyes, that hairdo.
Haircut, yeah.
Yeah, no. That is 70s Britain right there in one package. A fine specimen, eh?
I'm pretty sure based on YouTube poop.
I'm pretty sure that's dangerous.
Yeah, like you essentially make kind of nitroglycerin. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a YouTube poop version where the entire school
blows up the whole
explodes.
school.
Yeah.
That's what I've always imagined.
We wouldn't be allowed to do that.
Jesus. Got a great priority the school has.
Gotta love how the teacher is probably more excited than the entire class for that.
Okay, seriously, what is up with this school?
What's up with this entire city?
They'll give up everything just to get their hands on golden tickets.
What is in that chocolate? That's
Oh, God.
probably illegal.
Is it the same stuff they put in Pringles?
Okay, if I recall correctly, there's a news reporter joke when it's about to coming up, and I absolutely love a visual representation, mind you. No shit.
Imagine a company putting on a sweepstakes prize to sell more of their product.
Okay, Grandpa, don't get his hopes up.
Honestly, yeah, when you get down to it, this is actually a pretty genius marketing
Or publicity
scheme.
It's a
stunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of companies do that. There's something similar to that in my country, but I'm pretty sure it's a global kind of thing, you know, organized like a hold on.
Jesus.
What is it? No, is it? I'll
What is
ask
wrong
that
with
question
this
too. What the hell is wrong with this town?
This is like
Sure,
okay,
sure,
these
sure,
initial
sure,
kind
sure,
of
sure.
sequences feels like what if Frank Miller was supposed to make a comedy.
Sure. It's not just the town; it's the entire world that's going gaga over these tickets.
Germany. Oh, okay, I think it's now. Pay attention to what's behind the reporter's head.
Yeah. Subtle. Really subtle.
It's amazing. It's especially incredible because in my country, that kind of symbolism means literally that his wife is cheating on him.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
God!
Yeah, well,
I'll
it's not
give
just
this
you
some-
too. It's Europe in general, mine included.
Augustus Gloop, who is played in this movie by Michael Bollner.
Not sure I've heard of that actor before. Was this his only film as well?
Probably.
Basically,
How the hell did he do that?
What?
Excuse me, sir. The Bond set is on the other room.
Right, it's Charlie's birthday now. And he's got the prototype for 80s Tom Baker's Garth from Doctor Who.
That's the thing about Charlie. Again, I kind of like the fact that Charlie is not exactly the super nicest kind of character. He still has some character flaws, which we'll see later. But overall, has a general positive attitude and wants to help others. Again, it's kind without necessarily being obnoxious about it.
I told you, Grandpa, don't get his hopes up.
I get the feeling that Grandpa may be projecting a bit.
I was going to mention at the
He's
beginning.
got it.
I was going to mention at the beginning if our YouTube posts would paint him again in a more sadistic way, but I guess we don't really have to.
Yes, it was Charlie who got everyone's hopes up instead.
I mean, Grandpa Joe was doing it as well, so... Alright, second ticket.
Oh no, it's you.
It's
I take it this is-
That's fair.
I take it this is your least favourite.
I mean, yes. Also, I'm not sure if it's spelled the same, but her name is Veruca.
yes.
Like,
Just £1? Jeez.
Make
How's
your
that
own
help?
joke about company harassment.
Alright, so Veruca's voice played by Julie Dawn Cole, who was in quite a few things, including, unfortunately, the Jim Davidson show. She was in stuff up till like 2013, when she kind of retired and focused on her psychotherapist career.
Also, I saw that I think it's her mother, like that woman who was knitting there. Didn't she play the one of the villains in one of the Bond movies we commented on? Or not?
I don't know. Well, the father's played by Roy Kinnear, who was Rory Kinnear's dad. And Rory would go on to be in Bond films.
She shouldn't have said anything and just ran off with it. It's not like they would have noticed.
That's actually the
Yeah.
funny thing, Shiroi. In the remake, she actually does try to but
pocket
gets
it,
stopped.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. All that for just £1 extra.
Wait. And then there's Scarface here again.
Hmm.
You know, about 40 years later, I would be in place of those Wonka bars.
Toilet paper.
God damn it.
40 years, Joe, but not 50.
But to be fair, it's kind of interesting how this kind of comedy managed to get some, resonance a bit in more modern age with the, huge new rising of consumerism. Again, also that Roald Dahl originally envisioned also the story about the flaws of man in the Eisenhower period.
All right, so
Uh-huh.
and it's from Siemens, so make your
Let's
own
see.
jokes. Tim Brooke Taylor.
Oh my god, the machine's
sorry.
already revolting.
I'm sorry, Leo. I'm afraid I don't tell you to do
No,
that.
I'm telling you shit. I think there's a bit of a flaw in your plan.
It's got a point.
You got roasted by your own invention.
Stick it up your ass.
Basically.
This is the worst instance of technology not working in front of people.
So
when you
hang
want
on,
it
wait a minute. It took till the third golden ticket for America to get a golden ticket winner.
I got a golden
I know,
ticket.
ironic, isn't
Violet
it?
Beauregard.
Please stop chewing with your mouth open.
Violet Beauregard, played by the late Denise Nickerson.
Ew.
Who raised these children?
Ooh.
Also, I love how the camera so hang on, basically the TV camera is randomly focusing on Violet being talked to by a stranger.
I guess the cameraman was the
Yeah.
one with at least a couple of brain cells in the entire place. So.
I'm sorry, has no authority noticed that there's this weird scarred man talking to people? Because if I recall correctly, he also did it to Gloop while on camera as well.
Yeah, okay. Charlie, you're not even trying, mate.
He's thinking.
Yeah, thinking and leaving after like 3-4 stirs.
Mhm.
Yes, Charlie, I can count. You know who I blame for this?
Who?
Grandpa Joe. He's the one constantly getting his hopes up, and now look what's happened to poor Charlie.
Couldn't say capitalism, but sure, let's go also with that.
No. To be fair, yeah, Dwibs is right. This is more on Grandpa Joe because, as we will see later, Grandpa Joe really does want to get back into that factory. Like, honestly, believe it or not, it's not even capitalism that's urging people to try and get the ticket. People just really want to get inside that factory for one reason or another.
Oh, okay, here we go. Here it is. My least favorite song in the whole film.
Cheer Up Charlie, I think that's it.
Yes. Yeah, Cheer Up Charlie.
Oh, you hate this one, I recall.
Yeah, I'm not fond of it. Listen to the tone and everything. This is... Even if Charlie could hear it, I mean, he's miles away at this point. How the hell is this supposed to cheer him up? Mom, you're not helping.
I'm trying my best, sweetie. In song.
Blame your dad.
Your dad's dead.
Your dad.
Oh.
What?
What?
Grandpa Joe.
Actually, well, in the meantime, Dweebs, since actually we didn't ask, how was the budget and the recouping?
Right. On a budget of $3 million, it made $4 million.
Only had a $3 million budget.
Remember, I guess in the 70s, $3 million is different compared to now.
Even for the time, I would expect a movie with the kind of special effect that it did to be at least around 10 at the very least.
As for its box office, it made $4 million.
Yeah, which is sadly still not much.
Oh yeah, this is one of those movies that took a bit of its time to get
It's
a cult
probably
following.
went far better on on video.
Now you're getting the hopes up. It's a good job he can't hear it.
Mind you, apparently Warner Bros. In treating the properties, all the quote-unquote other movies attached to this franchise that have happened over the past few years and also are about to happen. If I correctly, there's an HBO Max series about to happen, or a movie I forgot.
Netflix, I think.
There's a new movie due to come out in 2023.
Yeah, apparently they seem to be only because they want to keep the rights. And that included apparently remaking this movie in animated form with Tom and Jerry in it. Yeah.
Doing something new with a film franchise strictly just to keep the rights. Now,
Everybody does. I know that Fans 4 Sticky is the one that's more popular among that, but pretty much everyone does that.
It's I think it wouldn't be so much of a meme if it weren't for the fact that more often than not, those movies end up terrible when they're literally made just to renew the rights.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm sure Charlie's glad that he's himself. A poor boy who gets by on very little.
I guess this is a good time to bring up Roald Dahl's reaction to the film because it also involves his reaction to the music, which Dribs may agree with. Dahl disowned the film and was infuriated by the plot deviations and considered the music to be, and I quote, saccharine, sappy, and overly sentimental.
Okay, I'll agree. I'll agree.
Fuck your feelings.
Okay, I will agree with that on Cheer Up Charlie. The rest, I don't know. Excuse me. So, Paris Femin plays Mike TV.
The most Texan kid you can imagine.
Okay,
Also,
seriously,
this child is a little too excited at the prospect of owning a gun in the future.
He's been in some bits and pieces. He was in an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, so there you go, T.O. 2 bars were found in America.
I feel pity for
Yes,
the poor
I'm
people in
sure
South
there are
America and
many-
Australia. Or Japan, for that matter.
Wait, what were you looking at? Yeah, when I thought it was gonna be. Wait, what was he looking at? Was he
Flubbering the line?
Is there a deleted scene where he was shot?
Honestly, that's a good thing that he gave up tobacco.
Okay, yeah, it's great you're giving up tobacco for the sake of your family, but mate, you're doing it again.
Listen, kid, I can't take it back to the shop. Just open the chocolate.
Okay. I mean, you bought it. I fucked up.
Okay, Charlie, now, I don't know whether you're coping, but, we're not putting asbestos in that.
Oh boy.
Seriously, with all the social... Again, this initial part, with all the social commentary about people ramming up for that, it really feels like a more recent...
$5,000 for a
It really
box
feels
of
more like a
chocolate.
traditional recent Frank Miller comic. Like, you can legitimately tell this might be a RoboCop side story.
Of this bit.
A kids movie.
That acting.
Kidnapping.
And what do they want?
The Fiend!
How no? How
I'll give them $10 million if I have to, just not the one.
Oh my god! Oh my god! She has to think about it!
Really?
Oh! Wow. Hey, oh, by the way, ma'am, I forgot to tell you, your husband can hear you over the phone line. Oh, there you go, Tio. South America gets it.
Well, look at the bright side, Joe.
Paraguay specifically.
Well, look at the bright side, Joe. Like, if this was a soap opera, this reveal on part of the husband would take like 100 episodes. So.
Okay, so
honestly, how sad is it that I could actually totally see there being a soap opera about a husband who's kidnapped and his wife has to contemplate whether or not she wants to give up her lifetime supply of chocolates to save him.
We got a news report from Paraguay, but they don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, they probably dubbed it over.
Yeah, he's gonna tell him. I can hear you. Maybe if you didn't
now
talk
I'm
so
not gonna
loud.
sleep.
Yeah, you didn't talk so loudly.
Fudge, Professor? Wait a minute.
The percentage.
Professor, please, there's enough kids already with their spirits crushed.
I feel like he's more upset than the kids.
I'm poor.
2? How dare you?
Oh,
My
snap!
family can't afford bread, you dick!
The the teacher, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I think this teacher needs a visit to the therapist.
Well, I don't think we see him again after this scene, so I can
Nope.
assume he was fired.
The school is busy just, disappear because, we are moving from there.
I mean
Reminds me
it's
of
school anyway. So.
Reminds me of that kid from that Chuck Norris movie. Hopeless. The kid is hopeless. Because that's the motto.
Also, I can guarantee that there are far worse teachers in real life who've gotten to keep their jobs.
So, he's found money.
Also, Phillips.
Lufthansa. Gee, I wonder what country this movie's filmed in. You kind of gave it away there, movie. Ideal product. Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That would have been awkward.
I mean, there's worse things to get.
Doesn't even thank him.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, okay. I know Charlie goes through a character arc, but one arc he doesn't go through is learning politeness. So,
Like you said, I kind of like the idea that despite being nice, overall nice and having a more of an humble attitude, he still has flaws.
Then now, Professor, I've opened 4. You happy?
Wait, what's this about a scandal?
wow, they figured it out that fast.
Wow, imagine they
To be
had,
fair,
they had
middle of a Cold War glimpse, like even surprised.
I mean, I think it took James Bond longer to figure out things were fake. Let's see.
Again, I also kind of like the fact that the movie has kind of built up to this moment and put a bit of red herrings instead of just being very blatant.
Yeah.
And... oh shit. But okay, maybe what Charlie's gonna do isn't the best idea.
Do not yell out.
Oh. Quick, everyone, grab the ticket.
Would you put it? Oh God, yes! Let's kill him for it.
I think Brian of Nazareth has less mob mentality than this movie. Like,
You know what? You know what? You know. You know what? You know what? You know, despite it sounding like a threat, kudos to the one sane grown-up because he has a point. These people will probably mob him to death for that ticket.
I mean, they tried.
Yeah, they were all crowding around the poor kid.
Like, honestly, you know, if you change the music, this could be a horror film about people going gaga and trying to kill people over these tickets.
Sounds like a spoof movie.
Oh no, it's the stalker.
So who is played by?
Gunter Meisner.
Hmm.
Who was... I mean, they're filming in Germany, so...
Also, personal space, a bit far away from the camera, please.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, they did film this in Germany, so get a German actor.
How does he know where every ticket is going to show up?
I mean, considering his entire goal is about corporate espionage, I guess, yes.
Yeah,
so he tries to be informant.
Yeah,
If that's...
I gotta say, when I was younger, looking at it from this angle, I thought it was just holding, you know, that bit. Okay, I get nowadays he was holding money, but from that angle, it looked like he was just holding a notebook, and I'm like, well, how's that gonna help him?
One has to wonder, if he had corporate espionage, why didn't he just have his employees all around the world buy them?
You know what they say, Trevor, if you want something done, do it yourself.
Yeah, I gotta say,
well,
this 4K remaster is actually pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's the point of 4K.
Yeah, but sometimes people do it.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, unfortunately.
Wait, you stole money?
He found it in a gutter.
Yeah.
You still stole money?
No, that is literally the part of finding it.
Yeah. But he's been in bed stuck for 20 years and has no energy.
No.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Sure. Oh yeah.
It
Now
is
you
such
now you get out of bed.
Wait,
Holy shit.
maybe. Well, maybe he just needs a lot of help in order to so much as walk out. So, maybe that's the case.
All right. Okay.
Like, it would be very much a struggle for him in that. Okay. So they actually did commit to that.
Jesus.
I find these extremely hilarious, but again, the mother is not helping the poor child in the slightest to do this. Like, the one reasons why I'm good at my job because I'm strong enough to pull, people who actually can't actually get out from bed. Don't leave the poor child to do everything.
The child's like just about half your size.
Okay.
And it probably malnourished to boot.
So to be fair, it is a point in the book that the joy of getting the ticket does allow the grandpa to pretty much soar up from his bed. That said, in this version, it's extended out to a full song number.
Okay. Jack Albertson is not the best singer in the world.
Okay, yeah, I will say this. I kind of do prefer how the 2005 film handled this instead. Where it literally is that surge of joy that actually gets him to get out from the bed.
Also, I might as well actually use this time to mention it, just for a small trivia. For some reason, despite the fact that it had been a while since we started not having that anymore, for this movie, they applied an old school mentality. My Country is That, where they left the songs in the original format and put subtitles on that, which is fine, like you said. They did the same again for stuff like The Wizard of Oz, So, but again, around this time, they kind of had started stopping doing that, so it really did not feel a particular reason why they did it here.
Hmm.
Come on, get up. Yeah, this is one point of contention people have with Grandpa Joe. So, my God, you've been lying in bed for 20 years, and as soon as Charlie gets a golden ticket to go to a chocolate factory, you're up and about just like that. You've not been helping your daughter around with getting money.
I feel like the 2005 version did a better job of encapsulating just how much joy it does give him, and in a sense, there you can sort of get how that would give him new life.
Also, Grandpa Joe, you didn't get the golden ticket. Charlie did.
Yeah, like I know he's usually following it up with, saying, yeah, it's ours, but he always starts it by saying, I've got the ticket. It's like,
ticket.
No, dude. Also, I get what Jova means because here it just seems like he was just fudging his condition the whole time.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's jumping around and dancing.
Whereas in the 2005 film, I definitely get better the idea that no, he was legit that frail, and it would take a miracle in that regard to get him feeling better. And it's not like there's a whole song and dance number, he just bounces out of bed from the joy and dances around.
Also, I feel like the start of the song, like it makes it sound like he's projecting the lack of a life he wanted onto Charlie. I get to live through you!
Yay!
Because those parents are always great.
And that's the thing, we're almost halfway through the movie and we haven't gotten to the factory yet.
Oh, by the way, I ran into Mr. Slugworth.
That vile villain you mentioned in the stories.
And that's it. We cut straight to.
And yes, Peter?
Well, sure, question. Like, what if the son genuinely wants to do that, though? Because when Cristiano Ronaldo first got famous, he immediately called his mom, quit. You're not working anymore for the rest of your life. I'll support you and everything.
That's the complete opposite of what I'm talking about, though.
In your
That's
example,
a willingness.
Yeah.
Whereas the parent, like, forcing, like, what they want onto their children, like, that's
Also, I see
no, what you
Veruca's
talked about is perfectly fine.
pretty much. I see Veruca's doing her best Madeline cosplay.
Power of the year.
Alright. Oh, like I said, now we're going to get into the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
You mean any part involving you-know-who?
No, I'm not talking about the bell tower. I'm talking about the man about to show up.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I was gonna refer to what was on screen at the time when I said it. Automatic doors. And there we are, Willy Wonka, played by Gene Wilder, who looks a bit, looks a bit out of sorts.
People came from all over the world to see this man.
I haven't been outside in 30 years.
You look
Almost like a
surprisingly well
parallel.
for someone like that.
Also, you can tell that the cane is made of like rubber or plastic because it keeps bending every time you push it on the ground.
The 70s were a much more innocent time.
Mm-hmm.
Though, okay, to be...
We're gonna get an actual like wooden stick.
Okay, you know what? To be fair, given what we later figure out about Willy Wonka, maybe this is intentional.
And...
Oh,
See?
my Führer, I can walk.
Yeah, I can walk.
Wow, everyone's fudging their conditions.
Okay, that was, believe it or not, that was the one condition he had to accept the role. Basically, here's what he said. When I make my first entrance, I'd like to come out the door carrying a cane and then walk towards the crowd with a limp. After the crowd sees Willy Wonka as a cripple, they all whisper to themselves and then become deathly quiet. As I walk towards them, my cane sinks into one of the cobblestones I'm walking on and stands straight up by itself, but I keep on walking until I realize I no longer have my cane. I start to fall forward, and just before I hit the ground, I do a beautiful forward somersault and bounce back up to great applause. Asked, what do you want to do that for? Wilder then said, from that time on, no one will know if I'm lying or telling the truth.
Huh.
Which is sort of a bit of a running theme with Willy Wonka in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why part of me wonders if the rubber cane was actually intentional, because Wonka himself is pretty much playing the crowd there too.
The Union Jack well, a couple of them actually.
And as for other actors considered for the role of Wonka, there was Fred Astaire, Joel Grey, Ron Moody, John Pertwee. Spike Milligan was Roald Dahl's original choice, and Peter Sellers begged Dahl for the role. And also, even all the Monty Python people expressed interest in playing him. I mean, they're all great, but I'm not sure I could imagine John Cleese as Willy Wonka.
Well, not necessarily John Cleese. I can imagine Terry Jones as Wonka.
easily Eric Idle to me.
Or Idle could be.
I could see Eddie Murphy doing his take on the role.
I might be tempted to say Rami Malek, but I'm not sure.
Rami Malek, where have I heard that name before?
Mr. Robot.
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah, that's the thing. This version of Willy Wonka has a few things that would not be out of place in a horror film.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned. This might be part of the changes that Roald Dahl was a bit uncomfortable with, and to be fair, okay. For as much as Roald Dahl could be a bit anal about some things, I can't entirely blame him because, as was mentioned, he actually did get to write it, but then, well, right from under his nose, somebody rewrote a lot of it. I think regardless of how the movie turned out, I could get someone being pissed about that. That's more or less what happened with Cool World. The only difference is that, well, this one actually turned out good, whereas Cool World was terrible, to say the least.
Also, leave it to a used car salesman to actually argue against a potential contract.
I mean, he's your father. To prison, yeah. Illegal, but clever.
Okay.
And now for the competition where I bump you off one by one until one survives.
Basically, you can retool this as basically a mixture between Final Destination and Saw.
Yeah.
Just a little more saturated.
Let's be honest, like I said, all it would take is a change in music and you could arguably make this a horror movie. In fact, has anyone actually ever done that?
I don't know. Oh yeah, speaking of being crushed earlier.
Welcome here where you will never escape!
Joe, what do you mean make into a horror movie? Plenty of people already see this as a horror movie, kind of, so...
Oh, I didn't... Well, then again, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, do I need to... I mean, not to mention the sequence we're about to get in a few minutes, so...
You know, you could literally trap your victims in this factory when you get down to it.
I mean, that is what he did.
Again, guys, Wonka's the good guy. We assure you.
Oh, it's like an IKEA.
Oh, God. Why does that sound like a very thin fret, Mr. Wonka? Could you describe your factory in a less threatening way, sir? You're scaring the children.
I mean, some of these children are pretty scary on their own.
I'm sure they're gonna grow up to be wonderful people, Shiroi.
Oh yeah, sure.
Positively wonderful.
Okay, I never got that bit. What was she referencing?
I assume a composer?
Probably. I couldn't actually get it though.
Okay, my subtitles did say what the song was, but it's gone out of my head now.
Rachmaninoff.
Quite an impressive set for the 70s.
Yeah, and again, for that kind of budget that they had, they kind of busted their asses for it.
So it's weird. So Gene Wilder agreed to this movie, but apparently you say he did not have a good experience making this movie.
Nowhere where I've read it, no. I mean, apparently he did enjoy at least working with most of the child actors.
So who was it that mentioned he apparently wasn't too fond of
I
this?
swear I remember seeing something about it. I'm actually searching on my own.
Okay, it was apparently Paris Femin, Mike TV's actor, who was being a nightmare during filming. At one point,
so he was perfectly in character.
Apparently, he even removed a glass dome that contained a colony of wasps that he had to evacuate the set.
Oh, God.
Why would you do
And he got
that?
stunk multiple times.
Well, I
Karma.
mean, he deserved that.
And during the movie, an interviewer asked G. Wilder, "How are you getting along with the child actors?" "Oh, 4 of them are great, and 1 of them are going to shoot in the head tomorrow."
And it's the one who plays the character who is all obsessed with guns. Again, I guess he was technically getting in character given how much a brat the kid is. That said, how much fun must this have been for the child actors? Hey kids, you know all those times you wanted to act disobedient and rude? Well, you get to act exactly like that and you won't even get yelled for it.
But I will shit talk you in interviews.
If you deserve it.
Well, yeah, I guess see, here's the thing. You can act disobedient, but only in front of the camera. Try to behave behind the scenes. Also, literally getting to eat candy for a movie. Again, these kids must have had the time of their lives being in this movie.
Kick.
I know I don't really eat many sweets, but I want a giant gummy bear at least.
Does he have a giant... Now, if he has a giant...
G. Wilder was in full control of his costume as well, even down to the dimensions.
That would have... I wonder if he has a giant cheesecake.
I don't think he really makes cake. Unless I'm misremembering something.
Also, apparently, according to Cole and Femin, the child actors didn't really like Mel Stewart, who called him, during filming, called him Mac S. Nochmal Stewart, which is German for do it again, which is what he'd yell to the German kid, Michael Boulder, whenever he messed up a scene.
So the child actors were not a fan of the director. Go figure. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing. Of all the people involved with this movie, I often hear the least about Mel Stewart, honestly.
I don't
that is.
I think of all the movies Mel Stewart has made, this is probably the only one that people even know.
No, Mel Smith, you mean?
Mel Stewart.
No, Mel Stewart.
I keep thinking Mel Smith for some reason.
Also, small method acting. Apparently, the entire cast was not allowed to see the room where they're in until the door got open for the scene.
Which probably does help for their sense of wonderment when they first saw it.
Again, despite the behavior of people like Jared Leto recently, I don't think method acting on its own is really a bad thing.
Okay, can I please say something about that?
Sometimes even enforced method acting does work, as we saw in Die Hard.
That's one of the reasons why I hate Jared Leto. He's not a method actor. He's an asshole who tries to excuse his bullshit. That's the difference.
So now we got the Oompa Loompas.
And Pedro, a bit of a spoiler, while he's toned it down, he still does his method acting from Morbius.
No, I've heard. Ugh. You know what's the weird part?
Yeah,
you know what's the weird part about that? That guy is literally over 50 years old, and he still looks like he's in his late 20s. That's just,
I know, right?
Which makes you wonder, maybe he really is a vampire.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I preferred how the 2005 film handled these guys.
I mean, to be fair, G. Wilder does tell the story very well.
It's just, you know, yeah. Again, I do feel like the 2005 version made it better, where it was literally a full-on mutual agreement as opposed to what it sounds like the white man's savior of sorts. Ooh, it's on between those two girls.
Also, is Veruca about to get into, for lack of a better term, slave trading?
Oh dear.
Oh shit. That's chocolate.
Yes.
What the character said earlier.
Oh, by the way, he's also drowning, but my beautiful chocolate!
I mean, at least Charlie's trying to be proactive, but, well.
Oh dear.
Well, don't worry, Charlie, he tried. And Grandpa Joe as well, since he was thinking as well.
Just enjoy the show like I am.
You don't seem that worried about it, sir.
No, stop, Dylan, come back.
Yeah.
Yep, right there.
Yeah, you know, given what becomes of this kid, one could wonder if this is an act of torture.
Like I said, the mixture between Final Destination and Saw.
The writer of Pinocchio would be proud seeing kids get punished this way. He even signals them with a whistle. No, look, we couldn't afford the lawsuit. I assure you he'll be alive.
We'll get him just in time, conveniently.
I mean, we don't see him again, so...
I'm sorry, I was having a flashback.
Huh. You know, it's a bit of a shame, but I'll talk more about that later. And now this movie literally turns into a sing-along.
Kinda. Is this a Roald Dahl adaptation or Dr. Seuss one?
Hey, you still got work to do.
Yeah, they're going to the next job.
Wonka.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the most. Yeah, a scene that I think it's one of the more divisive scenes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
I had to ask this in advance, Joel. Okay? Know that the what is gonna be recited was actually from the book, but is the scene in itself?
No, it was not this spooky in the book.
It kind of makes sense because what they're about to do has literally nothing to do with the entire place.
Yeah. People either think it's an effective spooky thing that continues with Wonka's unpredictability, or it's a big alligator moment that's kind of pointless.
Again, I can get why Dahl would have been upset with the changes this one makes. Now, for the most part, a lot of the changes do work. That said, there are some changes that, even if you feel they do work, you really do have to tilt your head and go, did we really need to do this? Now, compare this to, say, The Witches, where that actually apparently did not involve Dallas much, but I actually do appreciate the changes made in that one.
Which
And mind you,
Witches, Trevor?
the original Witches. Have you seen the remake?
No.
Smoking?
I think that was his response into her just picking her nose back there.
And that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, it's
You know,
fine. It's just like Disney.
You know, I am surprised that a theme park has not made a ride based off of this.
Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta say, the tone of this film was mostly pleasant up to this point. Now was suddenly going a psychedelic horror. And yeah, I get it. Wonka's supposed to be unpredictable, but after this happens, they never mention it again.
And again, it's not even like a mechanism of a factory in order to produce something else like they showcased before. It's just a thing that happens in between beats.
I will say this. Yes, this scene is amazingly trippy, but in terms of actually fitting into the movie, again, I feel like the 2005 movie did it better. Like, sure, oh my god.
So I'm actually wondering, did they actually end up film some of this imagery, like the chicken getting cut off, or did they use stock footage?
Most likely stock footage.
I wouldn't be surprised if part of it's stock footage, or some of it was
Why
actually
any
filmed
of
for
this?
Because
And again, as mentioned, Gene Wilder had to basically kind of improvise by quoting the poem, so the actors did not expect it he was going to do this.
Okay. I won't lie. The more I hear about the development of this movie, the more I begin to see it as a giant mess that somehow managed to be a good movie thanks to a lot of ad-libbing and a lot of luck. And even still, it wasn't exactly a box office darling. It was, however, a critical darling back in the day. Why?
Mr. Wilder, you're not filming Young Frankenstein.
I will give props to the Tom and Jerry movie for actually trying to do something with that.
So you said that he improvised this.
Yeah, well,
points for
Why
trying.
not?
Points for trying, I guess.
Well, wasn't that a lovely ride?
Yeah, it is, because 2 years before there was the moon landing.
It's funny because the sequel to the book, Charlie in the Glass Elevator, actually involves them going to the moon.
So
that's it. They don't mention this scene ever again.
So
Yes,
what?
Major?
So what do you think, Shiro, of this, as you put it, a world of pure imagination?
Sometimes your imagination can be too powerful.
Yeah. In this case, I kind of agree with the how it should have ended thing, because basically after that bit, in that version, all the golden ticket when it's just decide to just go home. Even Mr. Salt asks, "What in blazes does this have to do with chocolates?"
Hey, Shiro,
Yeah.
remember the Family Guy episode that was a parody of this movie where they had to find a parchment in a bottle of beer?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this would violate a lot of health and safety regulations.
So, to give the 2005 film credit, I feel like they went with a good compromise. Yes, they did have a weird ride down in the boat, but none of that weird psychedelic imagery to make it, again, borderline horror. They fit it in better with the movie, I'd argue.
But
Whereas
Tim Burton is more restrained than you.
I know, right? That's the ironic thing. Seeing this movie now, Tim Burton actually showed restraint with some things. That's kind of insane when you look unhinged compared to Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I learned about percentages in school.
What that was. I said don't touch anything.
Okay.
Charlie, did you not just forget it?
That's one way to get exercise.
Whoa.
I'm beginning to wonder if Gene Wilder may have projected some of his experiences with the kid off camera for this.
Okay, aside from me hoping there's a YouTube poop that just shows Mike blowing up the whole factory, there is this other YouTube video I saw where you know the bit where Charlie and Grandpa Joe were opening that golden ticket in the bed, opening that bar in the bed, hoping there'll be a golden ticket in it. I did see a YouTube video when they open it up, it blows up the whole house, and that was Wonka's exploding candy for your enemies. I mean, this whole dark anyway, so some bits is dark. Up. And there's a meme.
Yep.
Oh boy. It's funny because the way that meme is used actually isn't in the context of the phrase.
It's just for a reaction image with associated impact text.
What memes are?
Some
Quite a
tend to
few,
be.
actually.
We'll get another one later too.
Oh boy! So you're selling them those?
Hexadrons.
You're selling them those fancy rubbers I see in gift shops.
Wouldn't that mean less people have to buy them?
I had one, and they're not everlasting.
Oh, you've actually had one.
Yeah.
Let me guess, merchandise off of the film.
Well, I mean, those are of a future release.
Again, I'm surprised that of all the movies that Warner Brothers, or heck at the time Paramount owned, that they never made a theme park ride or an attraction based off of this movie.
It might have been something to do potentially with the rights. Again, Roald Dahl was kind of pissed off at this, and he vetoed, as long as he was alive, adaptation of a sequel book. So
Yeah.
I can imagine he will try to, not to interfere as much as he could in general.
As sad a shame as it is, again, I do kind of get why he was ticked off with this one. And heck, even though I love the witches, I can get him. That said, I don't think he needed to get to the point of spending his dying moments, because yes, he was kind of dying at the time Witches came out, but he spent his dying moments standing outside theaters with a loudspeaker. And Jesus Christ, that is a face straight from a horror film.
With
That's
bees.
nothing.
Oh, yeah, I think that was the one that the kid.
Yeah, the wasps.
And they had to evacuate.
For a tofu? Coffee, sorry.
Maybe you could explain why she shouldn't have it, Mr. Wonka?
I could, but I won't.
Oh dear.
Where's the fun in that, Jova?
Well, in that case, that means she is exactly what's coming to her. Totally.
Putting a blue filter over it.
Again, like free video budget.
There was nothing I could have done to stop her. Oh dear.
Jesus, Grandpa.
Like, Grandpa, I get it, she screwed up, but this looks like it could kill the kid.
So she's
Oh,
not
dear.
drowning. I'm sure.
Again, there is some potential child murder going on here.
Oh no, he's absolutely murdered children before. I'm convinced of that much.
No wonder Wonka wants to give away the factory at the end. Yeah, I saw that Robot Chicken sketch where Wonka just signed over the factory, and then Charlie Bucket, as a result, was the one accused of maiming and killing the other kids, and was sentenced to the electric chair.
The way they treat like the kids, like for what they've supposedly done wrong, is it kind of gives me Gruesome Tales vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
What,
disproportion-
Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You see, Shiroi, disproportionate retribution at its finest.
That was a sentence.
Yep, go on, let's move on.
I love the parents who think, yeah, I want my kid to still be in this theater for even some words as a second after all this.
Well, they can't go back, so supposedly.
I actually never got around to seeing any of those, but I did see one of those parody videos that, yeah, suggests that Willy Wonka really was out to kill the kids.
Lickable wallpaper. I'm pretty sure this will last for decades and decades.
Oh god, did they actually make that a thing?
Oh no, but I don't think they did.
I swear, every line coming from this guy feels like a very thinly veiled threat to break my legs.
Please do this, child. Otherwise, I'll have to break your kneecaps.
Okay. Back to the Roald Dahl thing, I can kind of get it. From the book, Willy Wonka was legit just a friendly guy, and you could tell it was mainly that the kids were really screwing up to the point where they did get their warning.
Here's another Grandpa Joe is terrible bit. Jesus, Grandpa! Did you not listen to what Wonka said?
I'm sure that won't come back to bite them in any way. Amazingly, nothing is happening, you were saying.
Again, I had another thought in my head of a YouTube. But not one that exists, unfortunately. But there's one if they drink too much, they just shoot up into the air like a rocket. Like, I can't understand why.
Honestly, kid, honestly, given everything else that's happened to somebody who so much has stepped a toe out of line, I am amazed that those two were daring enough to try this. And they got lucky, too. Because I can think of some pretty horrendous things that could have come from drinking that.
Also, I'm getting small flashbacks to Star Trek V with this particular editing. Thankfully, in this case, we don't pass over the same bridge 2 times.
But no, back to my Roald Dahl thing. I can get why he wouldn't have cared for this, because the tone with Mr. Wonka himself is very different than how it was in the book.
Oh, speaking of scenes, in some TV airings, they cut out "Cheer Up, Charlie" at the request of the director because he didn't feel it was vital to the narrative. But then the New Millennium came around, and they decided to cut out the boat ride sequence instead.
Wow,
And then the New Tens broadcast both of them.
I will give the very least that. Go on.
I can kind of see why they would have left out either scene. But... Oh! Yeah! Jesus!
I'm sorry, what?
You're about to say something.
I will at the very, well, it is true, all that stuff that's been said so far. I will at the very least give credit, at the very least, on its own merits, it's still a good movie, like we've said. Which is more than I can say for some other adaptations I could mention. So.
Oh yeah, like, honestly, this is still a good adaptation. Do I get why the original character wasn't happy with it? Yes, I do. But this one definitely turned out better. Also, those two nearly got chopped to bits. This really is a horror movie.
Lucky they can burp on command, huh?
Give it up, Pepsi, and anyone can.
Good job. Have you seen that college humor video?
No.
Basically, it's a more realistic what would happen if this happened. They can't burp on command and they die.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And
hey, where have you guys been?
Unlike the other psychedelic horror scene earlier, that one actually does get brought up.
Wow, dude.
Let's add animal abuse, why not?
Down it goes. Apparently Albertson ad-libbed that bit.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. Unlike most of the...
Sick of everyone's shit.
Okay, you know what? At least with Gloop and Violet, fair mistakes. Veruca? Oh, no. Veruca absolutely does have it coming.
The point where she even gets her own musical number for some reason.
So, a villain song.
I guess. It's the closest we get.
You are in literally one of the most exclusive locations out of all time, and what you want is a ball.
For you.
I blame the parents.
Oh god, she wants the world! Well, there you go, she's gonna go on to become a supervillain, Shiroi.
Considering Charlie's life up to this point, I can understand why he is very much sick of her bullshit specifically.
He's like, come on, girl, I had to earn everything I got.
Well, screw you! I will have the entire world! Or die trying.
About the whole Roald Dahl thing, apparently Julie Dawn Cole actually had dinner with Roald Dahl while filming, and she sat next to him during the premiere, and she claimed that both times she did so, he didn't seem to mind the film that much.
Maybe he was being courteous, I guess, which again is more than he was for the Witches one, where he literally spent time outside the theaters with a megaphone, and Jesus,
Okay.
she is literally destructive.
Okay, this is destroying property, so yeah. And she
Bad
died.
egg.
Truly a bad egg.
Again, unlike the other
Yeah.
kids, I'll admit, unlike the other kids, she absolutely had that one coming.
To be fair, I think the other two also had the own capacity. This
Oh,
kid
I'm
is a
not
bit
sure.
more direct. Again, it's very easy to see what the story is doing. The idea of highlight the vices of men and how they themselves are their ultimate downfall.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well, not so oddly, he said to the furnace.
Wee.
Oh dear.
Oh, fuck you, Grandpa.
Damn, son. Okay, I do get what you mean, though I will argue that, at least in this version, Gloop and Violet, while they are done by their vices, admittedly, okay, Gloop was literally just trying to enjoy the candy, which he was told he could enjoy. Violet,
He just accidentally
again,
fell in.
yeah. As for Violet, again, Wonka could have maybe done a better job stopping her from taking the gum and maybe explaining, yeah, we might have some cases where you may turn into a blueberry. But nah, Veruca, she was... Well, again, it looks like she's shaping up to be a supervillain.
Okay, now the Oompa Loompas know what's up. Blame the mom and the dad. Okay, I get. Okay, another thing. I get reoccurring leitmotifs, but all they did for this, the Oompa Loompa song, is they just changed some words around. At least the ones in the 2005 versions were all unique songs.
Mm-hmm.
Basically anything with bubbles in it. I'm not sure this is very sustainable. No comment.
Too easy.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have to go very far. It's just the door's right over there. Oh,
I love how he did that
I
without
wonder if the
flinching.
actors were supposed to expect that to happen.
Again, I love how Wilder does it without flinching. Like, I wonder how many takes this must have taken.
also, yeah, I love how each mode of transportation they have has fewer seats in it every time. Like, what could do this is going to happen?
What a waste of good ginger beer, though.
It's official. He's trying to kill us.
Did it squeeze him as he went through?
Again, for $3 million budget, they actually made it worth it.
Yeah, this is before the dividing camera trick was, well, even really thought up, so... Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly really do wonder how they edited that, since, computers weren't even really a thing that big. Well, they were a thing, but, they didn't really work for this stuff. And, goody, it's this bit.
This is the whitest set I've ever seen.
So, an Apple Store.
Now we know
Welcome
it's
to the
evil.
Apple Store. It's a chocolate apple.
How funny that Mike TV is saved for last.
That is a big bar.
Yeah,
For
just sell that. I mean, sound logic, but you can make a fortune just selling that big bar.
Those goggles look like prototype PlayStation VR headsets.
Quick, grab it.
Oh god, the movie's glitching.
What was that line from the other Star Trek product? Control to bridge. What we got here did not last for long.
Oh. I mean,
Why would I want?
You have a career as a mad scientist, kid. Like immediately, first thing from inanimate object to actual fucking people, not even past animals.
Honestly, I wonder if he could have won if he wasn't a bad kid, given how
Stop! Don't come back.
Oh my god.
Is that painful?
Who knows? Yeah, a million pieces take a while to put together. Just settle down, lady. Your son is,
Grandpa, no
That's-
puns.
Now you have a million children.
What her facial expression when she said that?
She's swinging the bag.
I mean, okay. You know what? I'll give the. You know what? At least the kid doesn't seem to mind, so he's not in pain, which is honestly more than can be said for the other kids. Your son may very well be lost to you, but just relax.
That's the
Or at
most
least
realistic.
Winnie tries.
That's actually the most realistic reaction in the movie.
Jesus Christ, my dude!
He has been alone for way too long. I mean, okay, technically the Oompa Loompas are there, but I don't think they interact all that often, it seems.
Like he said, part Final Fantasy Destination, part Jigsaw. Again, all these torture things almost getting to that just because we need to appreciate life more.
Oh yeah, you know how we said earlier that Jova and Shiri are the fans of chocolate?
Yeah.
You know who else wasn't? Julie
Charlie?
Dawn Cole,
Who?
one of the actresses of the movie. She was the one who played Veruca Salt.
Huh.
She
I
didn't,
guess
she,
in a-
she didn't like the bit where she had to eat chocolate, and Dahl himself apparently thought she was a weird girl for not liking chocolate. And that's the last of the Oompa Loompas.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like this thing that I like? You're weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. As Twitch mentioned, we never see the kids again, so for all we know, they did.
Well, no, don't we see? Wonka says they're alright. I've also imagined the scene whenever Wonka said, "Don't worry, they'll be quite alright." As soon as he says that, you can hear screaming in the background.
I will admit, it was a nice touch that the 2005 film does actually show the kids alive, because this was also a thing in the book where they showed the after effects of them.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Yes, actually.
Although, honestly, what you did wrong was probably the least wrong out of anyone.
I mean, Veruca assault damaged property.
Also, there's gonna be another bit of the method acting here.
Everything's in halves. Symbolism?
So, not really. It's not even a case of like split personality or something.
I really do not get it.
I mean, to be fair, Wonka, that contract was really, really hard to read near the end.
And even the glasses in half. Seriously.
And yet, the actors were not expecting Gene Wilder to actually shout at them. So the reaction is a bit more genuine.
I mean, I know it nearly killed you, but you get nothing.
There's the other meme.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa, you've been doing that the whole movie. Grandpa, you've been doing that
Also-
this whole movie. You'll want to call the kettle black.
Also, you did break the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the zenith of the whole Grandpa Joe is the real villain of the film thing. Being a massive hypocrite. And it involves his grandson.
I'm still wondering what's up with all the half stuff in here.
Yeah, I don't know, but I kind of get the idea why, not why, but the fact that, as you can see, compared to how big and magnificent and grandiose the rest of the factory is, how the personal writing desk is so small, almost too small for even the chair for his figure. There seems to be some kind of proper symbolism in this.
Okay, so yeah, I won't lie. Wonka's a dick here. This was
Again, Jova, part of Jigsaw, all test of characters to appreciate life more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's the point.
okay. Now he's kind of a. And now you see how he knew where each chocolate bar was going to be. He literally works for him.
See, he wasn't just some creepy, ominous weirdo following children around.
No. He was a creepy, ominous weirdo hired by Wonka to follow people around. Which, given how Wonka has handled stuff, is just really out of place.
Probably not.
Okay, again, I do kind of prefer the 2005 version of Wonka. It's pretty much just up straight saying, hey, you were the least disobedient kid, so you win. As opposed to doing that whole extra bout of the fizzy lifting drinks thing. Because, yeah, the fizzy lifting drinks thing, that wasn't in the book either.
The self-destruct button.
God damn, I was about to say.
Go ahead and blow us all to Kingdom Come, Charlie. Actually, I'm not too far off because, yeah, where this elevator goes... Again, I'll just say this again. It's amazing that we've never gotten a ride based off of this.
I mean, there was an Alton Towers ride at one point.
Oh, was it a drop tower one?
No, it was one of those, it was part ride, part cinematic.
Oh, one of those dark rides. Really? I've never heard of that ride.
Unfortunately, it's closed now, and It's
And
like,
there's some damage done to your roof.
but Charlie,
Look at
Charlie
Munich.
was, but Charlie was worse. It has to be washed
Oh,
and
okay.
sterilized.
The HD quality makes the effect look like Plane 9 from outer space.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, that was Nordlingen, the town there above. Yeah, your shitty school. Except where I nearly died.
And where all those kids are probably dead.
But hey, yeah, I don't have to deal with the legal consequences. Okay, I'm not sure that's how it works, but yeah.
And the way he goes through this sounds a bit creepy. Not saying it ruins the film for me,
Almost
but man.
every line tends to have that Drova.
Nothing's all just about you, Grandpa.
I just wonder what would have happened if they never find out that, that South American billionaire falsified his own version of the ticket.
That
Yeah,
true, yeah. Also,
Right.
yeah. Also,
Yeah, so
Wonka
it's-
got.
it doesn't have
Tia
any
raises a good point, though. Wonka got pretty lucky that all the recipients happened to be kids or have kids. Like, what would-
Wonka, the elevator's going too high. You'll suffocate.
What about the pressured lives instead? And yeah, it just ends like this.
And that's it, yeah. And it ends
A lot
with
of,
them all suffocating to death.
A lot of 70s movies ended with credits like these. Too. The Muppet movie does this too.
I get that, but it's like it just not even just stops. It immediately segues. Like I get it, probably a result also of the budget.
No, like I said,
videos and everything.
that's the thing. Like I said, this entire thing, the segue, like you said, 70s thing. The Muppet movie did this, for
So-
example.
So final thoughts, I suppose.
Walper Pictures Limited presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, distributed by Warner Brothers. I mean, they
Alright.
could just cut out the Paramount bit at the start, but whatever. Yeah, I'll go first with the final thoughts. Yeah, okay, this is a really weird movie at points, like the bits where okay, I'll just highlight my two least favorite bits right at the start to get the negativity out the way. Cheer Up Charlie, which kind of accomplishes the opposite of what it's set out to do, and the tunnel scene. Yeah, it's effectively creepy, but it never gets brought up again. So I kind of wonder what was the point. Because I mean, at least the 2005 version had the same kind of idea, but just turned it into a wild ride, like a theme park. But yeah, but the positives. Gene Wilder, yeah, at points he was creepy, but he was very dedicated to the role, and the bits where he is being earnest really do work, especially when he was telling the story of how the Oompa Loompas came to be at the factory. Yeah, it's show don't tell, but at least the telling's good. Now that's mainly to do with Wilder's acting. All the child actors were also really good as well. It's kind of a shame that Ostrom didn't do any more movies after this, although to be fair, if it was his choice not to, then that's fair enough. And if he's happy as a vet, great.
It's similar to how the, if I recall correctly, because I don't think we mentioned it, the child actor who played up Peter's son in Hook eventually became like a lawyer, if I recall correctly. So that's some irony there.
Yeah. The production values, especially for a low budget movie by early 70s standards, is also really good. Especially the sets for the chocolate room and the other environments like the office, the Bucket's house, and okay, the inventing room might be a bit up there, but yeah, it's meant to look like a bit of a hodgepodge. It's also pretty darkly funny. Like when the horrible things happen to the kids who deserve it. Like when Mike TV messed with that thing and he got his teeth nearly blown up. Again, Wonka told her not to eat it, so there you are. And the songs, yeah, okay. Yeah, Pure Imagination and The Candyman. Yeah, those are the two massive standout songs of the movie, and for good reason. The rest range from the rest of best just are good. One of my other favorite songs is okay. Aside from the bad singing, I've Got a Golden Ticket. It's very infectious. It is very bouncy, like it should be when you've just won something. Except it wasn't Grandpa Joe that won it, but that's Grandpa Joe for you. And yeah, the fact that it moves so quickly, yet it still manages to get everything it needs to in here, is also a good accomplishment. Like I said before, there are things that it does better than the 2005 movie, and there are things that the 2005 movie does better than this. We'll probably get to the 2005 film in the future, so we can elaborate on it more.
What about the Tom and Jerry version?
If I'm desperate and have nothing else to pick,
it'll come eventually.
But yeah, but as it is, this was a very good adaptation. Even though I could understand why Dahl might have had his grievances, especially since apparently they rewrote most of the script behind his back. But what is here, for the most part, is still pretty good, and it deserves its place as a childhood classic, especially with me played the VHS of the film many times to the point where my parents got sick of it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I can get where fans of the book and Roald Dahl may have issues with it because it does take some drastic changes. That said, I do feel like while those changes, and yeah, some were absolutely unneeded, like the boat ride. Oh, don't get me wrong, the boat ride is awesome and how insane it is, but it pretty much has no place in this movie. Let's be honest.
Again, the thing that's baffling the most is that it's not even connected to any of the application normally used, for the rest of the factory. They couldn't even come up with something connected to that. So, we're using the terror of the images to instill like the extra flavor in this product. No, they did not even do that.
It makes me wonder if they thought they were making something related to Son of Frankenstein or something with how many horror film vibes this has. Like, seriously, pretty sure some people are dead. Hell, Charlie and his grandpa nearly did die from that ceiling fan, which is probably just as Mr. Wonka planned anyway. Christ almighty, like, holy cow. Again, honestly, all this film needs is some different music, and you could turn it into a horror or at least high thrill or suspense flick.
So it's like Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah. Except, good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? If you like Drop Dead Fred, that's good for you. It's
again, just recast Wonka with using Tobin Bell, and you're good to go.
Oh my God.
Hello, Mr. Bucket. I want to play a game.
You don't appreciate life.
That's the thing, Jova. That's the thing, Jova. Surprising.
I'm poor. I appreciate life enough.
That's the thing, Jova. Surprisingly, there's still quite a lot of Brits who really stand up for that film to this day. So
yeah, it's Drop Dead Fred.
Because of the lead actor.
Yeah, because it's got Rick Mail.
But no. This film is good. Again, I do feel like they could have tried to make Gloop and Violet a bit more bad to make their respective ends feel more deserving, which is something that they did more so in the 2005 film. That said, no, they definitely do a good job showing how much Veruca and Mike TV have it coming. And boy, do they get it, especially with Veruca. And again, unlike the 2005 film, we never see these kids alive, so, place your bets, guys. Are they alive or dead by the end?
I'm gonna wager a 50-50 scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Mike TV survived that taffy porn.
What do you think, Shiroi?
I wouldn't go 50-50. I'd say rather most of them are dead.
And how do you know that? Unless you killed them.
She knows because she must know, as you usually say, Lips.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pedro? Dead or alive?
I'm gonna go with all dead.
Well, there you go.
Well, you're not going to call him out.
Okay, I mean, okay, I I can maybe possibly see Augustus Gloop and Veruca Salt maybe surviving their ordeals because they were just stuck in a place.
Honestly, if anything,
Anne was going to a furnace though, and if her father jumped down after her, she may have gotten stuck, like Wonka said, but her father's probably pushed her further, and now she is burnt alive.
Yeah.
But as for Violet and Mike, yeah, I don't think squishing a human's benefited anybody, and pulling a human, yeah, we could have a RoboCop on our hands.
Honestly, if anything, I'd see Gloop and Violet being the ones who survive most likely, because, yeah, they have to juice Violet, but she has so much fluids on her that she could possibly come out fine. And with Gloop, that's just a matter of retrieving him. Veruca, yeah, like Shuri said, her father may have unexpectedly sent her to her doom. And Mike TV, he's, oh boy.
I mean, they probably made him into a trampoline.
Actually, given what happens in the book and the 2005 flick, he actually gets stretched to be as thin as a wire and incredibly tall. So he's got a promising basketball career.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to catch him.
But, yeah, no. Good movie. Now, the songs can be a bit hit and miss. The Candyman, good song. Chirp Charlie. It's an overall unnecessary scene and song. I do get what it's going for, and I don't particularly hate it. I do feel like it's sung well, too. But yeah, it's not the most necessary one. As for I've Got a Golden Ticket, yeah, that number kind of makes the grandpa look a bit like a dick.
I got the golden ticket.
No, you didn't.
After all the pain, sweat, and literal tears, no, Gramps, just no.
You didn't even pay for that bar. Charlie found the money in the street.
Then we've got, of course, Willy Wonka's song, Pure Imagination. Love it absolutely. Then there's whatever the hell he was singing in the tunnel. Like, huh? The Oompa Loompa song is nice and catchy, though I do prefer how in the 2005 film they did differentiate them over time as opposed to repeating the same bit here and there. And yeah, no. Overall, the soundtrack's a bit of a mixed bag, but I like it still. The impressive thing about this movie are definitely the effects and the lengths that they went for, given the relatively small budget and how this was going to be such a famous film in regards here and there. Especially, I think special mention goes to the automatic cleaning scene and however they pulled that scene off. Because, you know, again, the whole dividing line style of camera work, I don't think that was really a thing in the 70s yet. Or maybe it was, but either way, good work there. The cast all definitely turned in a great performance. Of course, special mention goes to Gene Wilder. But the kid actors actually do pretty good too, so kudos there. Yeah, no, it's a great movie. I can get why it wasn't as much a box office success, but I can also get why critics and audiences alike enjoyed it. So yeah, good work.
It's still a fun and enjoyable movie. There are a couple of really great songs in here, most notably Pure Imagination, but the others just, they're fine. They serve their purpose. Cheer Up Charlie, although I don't dislike it as much as Dwibs, it's still like the most unremarkable by far. I'm fine with the Oompa Loompas just keeping what is essentially the same song because it's really short and also it's just kind of a nice thing they've got, you know, just going on there. The film looks really good considering what you said about the budget because...
yeah, only $3 million.
Yeah, they made it look really good. I guess they had people who knew how to properly handle the budget. The actors are great. Even the child actors, I know child acting is hit and miss. I mean, they are children, so it's probably more likely to happen with them. But no, they all actually did pretty good. I think that's about it. It's just a nice. I think it is a nice movie, despite the controversy in the writing, which was a dick move. Regardless of how the movie turned out. I think anybody would be annoyed if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it still came out well, honestly.
No, I grew up with this movie. My first time doing was catching it on TV. And yeah, I still really enjoy it. But yeah, that it is true that the movie hasn't particularly aged that great. It's still iconic just because of how many classic scenes, and of course Gene Wilder's a legendary performance that it's still parodied to this very day. But yeah, when you watch it today, and of course when you have the book and the other adaptation to compare it to, yeah, it does show some weird decisions on part of the script. So yeah, but that being said, I still enjoy it fine enough, because I think it's just one of those movies that's just like hard to hate, because it's just it's such a classic, and to this day it's still known because of the memes, So it's kind of so it's kind of hard to really dislike the movie necessarily. So I still enjoy it fine, but yeah, that being said, yeah, don't go in expecting a faithful adaptation. This movie clearly is more interested in just taking basic cues from the book rather than actually adapting the book. So yeah. That being said, again, it's still really enjoyable again, it's a 1970s classic. I mean, so all right.
I'll conclude then. Honestly, to me, it's even arguably better than I remember, surprisingly enough. It still has its particular flaws, like the aforementioned Grandpa Joy. Didn't remember him to be this much of a dick when I was watching the movie as a child. But honestly, the rest of it, again, the humor is a bit more on point than I remember. I didn't mind what happened with the first two children. I do believe the movie had characterized already them to be already in a position of being victim of their own follies. And in general, like I said, Charlie is painted not necessarily as a saint, but in a more kind of, honest way. So at the very least, he has a bit more balance rather than to be, your typical super optimistic kid that never fails and manages to, save the day because he's just that nice and special, So no, overall it is actually a good time. Again, shame about Roald Dahl getting screwed over by the writing. If it was just a case where, they adapted it on their own and he complained about it, a la Alan Moore, I guess I could see more about, the fact that he might have been too grumpy. But in this case, he was really screwed over directly for a project that probably was a bit really special. So I can see him, becoming disillusioned by the movie industry. And considering the 70s, at least in my opinion, is arguably one of the weakest decades for movies on a general scale. It still manages to have good movies overall, but compared to what it came before and after, yeah, it was a rough time. I was even compelled by the fact that I was checking, again, the fact that this movie, with a $3 million budget, and like you said, props to the movie to actually take advantage of that and make this set piece really good, actually. The fact that it grossed only so little, and the competition that it had was barely existent to begin with. A couple of foreign movies at best, nothing too particularly, important that came around this time. So it had really no excuse to gross out this little. It was just a matter that not many people went to see movies in theaters to begin with around that time. But overall, no, it is a good time. Still, the music is fine. Again, I can tell now that the influence also from the original Dr. Dolittle is present in some fashion, particularly in the instrumentation. These songs, they're fine for what they need to do. I don't particularly care about most of them anyway. So, but they do their job they're supposed to do. Even if the others have mentioned, what particular quirks that they had, like, I got a golden ticket. I don't really have a problem taking with Cheer Up Charlie. I just put it on the same place as the others just for, its own personal reasons. I don't really think it's that unwanted, but that's pretty much it from me. It's fine. I don't think I've ever seen the 2005 version. I'm not particularly looking forward to that, but I guess there is the curiosity factor. Not so much probably for the Tom and Jerry version, but we'll see. So see you eventually for one of those, I guess.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.